Okay, who wants to say our opening prayer? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay. All right. Can someone say a prayer for us really quick?
I'll go ahead.
Thanks.
Father in heaven, we're grateful that we could meet tonight, that we could get together for this class, that we could discuss the needs that we have, and that we could ask that thy spirit might be with us, that we might be able to grow and understand and learn from each other and from the Spirit. And we ask these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. So, how I'm just going to approach this is I'm going to try to get us to end at 9 if my computer makes it that long, or if my internet is connected that long. So what I wanted us to go over first is what experience with handing out the letters to those that you were grateful for. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
You said what was our experience, right?
Okay. Yeah, with handing out the letters.
Okay, I'll start. So Zach, it sounds like for whatever reason, just so you know, you're getting a, I don't know, 15-second lag or something. But anyways, I'll go ahead and start. You know, it was a pretty neat experience. I gave one to my wife and one of my brothers that lives far away. My wife thought it was very sweet. But the one that was really neat for me was my brother, because I don't know, we don't get to see each other a lot. He lives in Spokane, Washington, which is a good 12 to 14 hours away. And when we do see each other, you know, we each, he has 5 kids, I have 4 kids. It's just kind of a zoo. So it was just kind of neat to be able to put on paper the feelings of gratitude I have for him. I named one of my kids after it, middle name after him. I mean, I really love my brother, so it was neat to kind of express those feelings and have that time to reflect on gratitude. It made me feel good to write the letter. Even if I never sent the letter, it made me feel amazing. And that's it.
Okay, I'll go. So for me, it was kind of funny. So I actually just talked to my husband instead of wrote him a letter. And I mean, I do little stuff for him as often as I can, but I just, it kind of like surprised him because.
Thank you. Heidi, can you share your experiences?
Can you hear me? Can any of you hear me? Okay. I'm just gonna talk. I don't know. So anyway, so like I was saying, I talked to my husband and it just kind of threw him off because I just and it really was true. I just told him that, like, you know, I always love him. Whenever I tell him I love him, I'm sincere about it. But you know, there's just times where like I feel extra love and he just was really grateful that I, you know, expressed to him that, like, you know, there's times I'm like extra grateful or extra appreciative of him. And I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well, but it was a really good conversation. So, yeah, I enjoyed having that conversation with him.
Awesome.
Zach looks like he's talking.
His lips are moving. But the sound is not coming through, Zachary.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but that might be easier.
Starting to hear you a little bit. You know sign language. You have a whiteboard. What is the role?
Did you guys?
How about Adrian? I haven't heard Adrian at all. Are you there, bud?
He's been typing.
Oh, I haven't looked at the typing thing. Hold on.
Yeah, if you guys can hear me, I'm just gonna send in my questions via like typing. Like that might be easier for you guys just to get some questions out there. So,
Adrian, are you without a microphone today? Okay. Yeah, Adrian's without a microphone too.
So Adrian, if you want to reply, you're up, buddy. For the initial question, I think it was, how did sending the letters, what was your experience? Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, it's kind of week it's been. I'm double checking.
yeah.
No, I've been asking what day it is almost every day this week. Okay. So my idea, so Zach just posted.
Did you guys see that last message?
Yes.
So maybe we can let Adrian type his and we can start talking about the next question and then Adrian can start typing his answer to the next question after he sends his first question.
Sounds good.
Cool.
You want to start this one out?
Sure. So I think that gratitude is really important in organizations from all parties. So I think it's really important that managers show gratitude towards their employees as well as like praise for their employees. And I think it's important that employees show it in return. Which I don't know, maybe is a weird concept, but like my current employer and some of my past employers have played huge roles in helping my career growth and have provided me a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And, I think it's important for employees to let their employers know that that's important to them and that they're grateful for it. So, so they continue to do those things and want to continue to do those things. But two, everybody loves to hear that they're appreciated. So I think it's important that we all share it.
Fantastic. I'm going to go kind of the opposite of that, is just give an experience I've been having lately of the opposite end. And I think it kind of shows, kind of the dysfunction of when there isn't gratitude. It's like I'm a huge baseball guy. I love baseball, whether it's pro or whatever, but my boys play baseball as well. And I help out with our organization. We have, an organization that organizes and runs our summer baseball, travel baseball, and softball organization. I've been a part of the board for 5 years now. I've been the president 2 years of those 5. And like, I'm just ready to be done because there's so little gratitude from so many people for all the hard work. And it's not just me, from all the hard work that a lot of people put into things. Hi, Brother Lamfair. How are you?
Hi, just popping in. Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, it's like when gratitude is not a part of an organization, it can destroy a lot of the good things that are there. And it can lead to where people that are giving a lot of resources and time will leave, and the organization can lose good, strong people because gratitude, there isn't a sense of gratitude in the organization. So I think it's extremely important. It looks like Adrian has posted his thoughts for the last one. So I don't know. Why don't I just, do you want me to read it out loud, Zach?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay, so Adrian said, I sent one email to a friend and former bishop thanking him for an entrepreneurial interview that he allowed me to give him for an assignment last semester. I sent another one to a former teacher that I had and thanked her for being a great teacher. I sent another email to a girl who used to be in my young single adult ward for being a good friend to me. I sent these all last night and have not received any responses from any of them yet.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You better hurry up and talk while we can hear you.
Apparently, I still have a little background. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I like this organizational question a lot. I agree that when you don't have gratitude and feeling underappreciated is a great way to kill morale. And it's hard to work at a place where they don't respect you for who you are. I feel like gratitude has a lot to do with respect. And it's easy to feel replaceable and want to move on without, if you're not receiving gratitude. I think another problem that you can encounter with gratitude is making sure that you sound sincere when you're giving praise to people. You need to make sure that you're not doing it quickly as like a to-do list kind of mark, because if it seems insincere, then to me, it feels like you're trying to buy my loyalty or the efforts that I'm putting in. So I think that there's a line to making sure that when you're in a leadership or managerial role, that you really truly express sincere gratitude. So those are my thoughts.
You know, one thing that made me think of, Zach, is that gratitude is an actionable word, right? It's like you need to take action if you're grateful. You can't like just sit in the background and think, oh, I'm grateful for that person, because it doesn't do any good in an organization if you don't take action with that gratitude. Whether, like you said, whether you let them know that you're grateful. You just sitting back and thinking it doesn't help the situation. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Zach, Zach, I wanted to just add to what you said. I think people can tell. They can tell when you're sincere or not. And that sincerity comes from a place of, what are your values and what principles do you hold to, and what's your paradigm regarding these folks, and you can say all the right words, but they can tell if it's genuine or not.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So, Lamp here. Just to let you know, we're having a lot of technical issues tonight. I'm the leader for this group, and I live kind of out in a rural part of Colorado, so the internet's really spotty tonight. So I might cut in and out. I could be doing it right now, so for all I know. All right. So we don't have much longer to go for the meeting tonight, but one of the last questions I wanted to ask was, what are the barriers to expressing gratitude? And then how can we overcome those barriers?
Heidi, you want
guys hear that?
Yeah, we hear you. So I think that pride and selfishness are huge barriers to expressing gratitude. Particularly selfishness. I think a lot of people feel like they deserve something or they're owed something. And I actually have an example. It's maybe a little bit not about gratitude, but so at my work, there was a senior management position that was created because we've, grown to a point where one needed to be hired, and my manager applied for it and he didn't get it. And when he didn't get it, he walked out of the room that he was told, grabbed his stuff and left, and hasn't come back to work. And we've been told he's going to be out of the office for about a month. And I just feel like all of us feel like really abandoned by our manager. And kind of how I feel like it applies to this is I feel like it's selfish of him to, to react in this way. And, he still has a job that needs to be done. And he still has a job, at least as far as I know. Right. And so that's where I say I feel like he should be grateful for having a job and not react in such a selfish way. When he doesn't get what he wants. I don't know if that's, like I said, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but that's kind of, what my reality is right now. And, thought about that when we started talking about this.
That's kind of I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I think as I was thinking of gratitude, I was thinking of outwardly expressing gratitude. But I like the thought of, it's important to have gratitude yourself, to be grateful for where you're at, what you have, and that sort of thing. So thanks for that, Heidi. Let's see. So my thoughts on what stops people from expressing gratitude. Sometimes I think it can even be embarrassment. I think some people can be introverted. I think some people can be introverted and they can have a hard time expressing how they feel to other people. But more often than not, I do think it's kind of what Heidi was saying, that there is some selfishness. There's sometimes people have a feeling of insecurity where they think if they're being expressing gratitude for others, that somehow puts them down a notch. I know I talk about baseball a lot, but that's kind of where I see a lot of this. Is it's almost, we have a group of parents that are scared of other kids doing well because they think that'll diminish what their kid does. And I think sometimes that happens in the workplace. They're afraid of recognizing others because they think that brings them down a notch, as opposed to the win-win situation. That's the biggest principle I wish everyone could understand and realize, that being grateful to each other and praising each other and bring each other up is that win-win situation that we all need to look for, instead of this trying to find the win-lose where if I don't acknowledge his or her goodness and virtue and ability, then that means that mine is just that much better, which just really isn't true. I hope that made sense.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Adrian, if you didn't see my last message, if you could just type something up, I'd be really curious to see what you have to say about this. I know it's kind of hard in that little box.
I was going to add something, and this kind of maybe goes along the lines of the embarrassment thing, but it's like when we get a prompting to do something and then we don't do it, we kind of go through a rationalization process to justify having not done what we felt like we were supposed to do. And I think it applies to the gratitude thing as well, that we feel like we should give thanks to somebody, recognize them, and we don't do it. And we kind of go through well, it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. And, whatever I would have said probably they wouldn't have thought that big of a deal about it anyway. We go through this process to sort of minimize the fact that we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I can see that.
Absolutely. When I saw this, when I was thinking about this question, it reminded me of an experience I had with this manager that I helped co-manage with at this pest control business I worked for. And I had gotten the position before him. And so when he came up, I was excited to kind of work with him. And it quickly became a situation where unless we had split the responsibility, he oversaw half the technicians, I oversaw the other half. And he had a really hard time acknowledging success from employees that weren't directly underneath him. So just in general, and which the other technicians kind of quickly realized, because we still all interacted on such a regular daily occurrence, that when he only praised just his guys directly, that it started to kind of create a rift that the owner kind of came in and had to deal with for a time. And that was like a really big eye-opening experience for me, that it's not even just about expressing gratitude, but you for people that you really like or that are kind of in your corner, but just to generally have an attitude of gratefulness of and camaraderie with the people that you work with, has a big impact on company morale, on productivity, on the way people view their jobs, and on loyalty. So that was something that I saw. And when it comes to how we can overcome, we talked a lot about selfishness. Heidi, that I thought was great. You made great comments about that. Brad talking about being insecure, but Lampier just talking about how we rationalize all of that stuff. I agree with all of that. And I think one of the best things that we can do is try to find the little things that we do that we can be grateful for, or that are given to us, the little blessings in our lives, as well as what everyone that we kind of encounter with, what little thing do they do? It might not even be a big thing, but just what small things do they do that may have a big impact, or have some type of positive impact in our working environment, or to you personally. I think just trying to take the time to see people as individuals and what talents they bring to the table, even no matter how small they are, I think can leave a big impact. So those are my thoughts. And then Adrian has wrote a comment. Can someone read that? I don't want to break it up because I'm sure it's fantastic.
Don't see it.
I can. Okay, so it says bad manners and ignorance, I think, are some factors. Some people may have not been raised to express thanks to people, and thus they don't do it much. They may not have seen their parents do this often, and so they end up not doing it much in situations where they should express gratitude. On the other hand, there are some people who are just careless and just don't care to express gratitude. I think that brings a good point. I mean, although we can overcome those things, there's a lot of, we do a lot of what we're taught. I mean, those are hard to overcome, although we need to.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian, for sharing your thoughts. You always bring something new to the table, which is great. So we kind of hit our hour mark for our meeting time. I know a good portion of it was spent trying to figure out how to touch base with everyone and get everyone involved, and lots of aggravation and a lot of patience on our part. So I just wanted to quickly say, goes out again, that I'm really grateful for this meeting. I think that it shows a lot about our group, and I learned a lot about each of you and the dedication that you're willing to put in to make this happen and to help me out as the group leader. It would have been really easy for you guys just to dismiss it and to take off. You know, Adrian not having the ability to communicate audibly is difficult, and I'm feeling it tonight. And so just even putting in the thoughts that you have and taking the time and the patience and the diligence makes an impact on all of us. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that lesson that we got to learn tonight as a group, as we discuss just the benefits of gratitude, both in our homes and our personal lives, as well as in the workplace. I know that this meeting left an impact on how I view gratitude in the workplace for sure, especially reading some of those talks that we did. Did anybody have any questions about what we discussed tonight before we wrap up?
Adrian said, no, I'm good.
You guys good?
I don't have anything, but I wanted to say just basically what you said. Just thanks to everybody tonight for your patience and for working together as a team to help get this going.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a hassle, but I'm glad we got to meet. Brother Lampier, do you have anything? Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, good. Did you have anything to add?
I think one of the things that sort of came to me today in thinking about this and attending some of the other meetings is when we, excuse me, when we go through this exercise, this idea of what are we grateful for, or to whom are we grateful, it gives us a chance to ponder situations in a new light. It gives us a chance for the Holy Ghost to help us maybe see somebody the way Heavenly Father sees them, or sees a situation the way Heavenly Father sees it. And so it's anytime we can get quiet with ourselves and kind of ponder and think, that's all good. And I think that's one of the benefits of doing this gratitude project, gratitude activity.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's a great point. And it's always great to hear from you since we very rarely get to interact with you. All right. Well, if there's no other questions or comments, I'm assuming.
Nope, all good.
All right, then we'll go ahead and close out for tonight. And are we still going to be on for next week?
I don't see why not.
Yep, should be good.
Okay. Adrian, I think you're up next. I think you're the next group leader, just FYI. I think that's what I have you down for. Okay? I'm going to assume that you, yep, all right. So, all right, you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Awesome. See you guys.
All right.